Hi and welcome to the Olah Show. I am Oyedeji, and my guest for today is a professor. She's an exceptional woman. She's the founder of the Empower Africa initiative. She's Dr. Princess Halliday, who's done so much for herself and for her society. When we get back from this break, we'll get to know who she is and find out what exactly drives her. It's the Olah Show, and the show continues in a bit.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. So in other words, this property has been giving out to ESI for the purpose of the school.
Yes.
Because with these platforms and training currently in place.
Ladies and gentlemen, Princess Halliday.
Okay, so guys, we're back. It's still the Olah Show, and I still have Dr. Princess Halliday with me. Dr. Princess, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So my first question is, how did you end up being a professor?
Well, very good question. So I've always strived to do the extraordinary. I've always looked forward to doing things that I know that people assume to be far-fetched. So the first thing I did, as you know, is I had my first degree in petroleum engineering very many years ago. And afterwards, I wanted to do more. So I thought it was very important to look at the areas where we as a nation lack, especially young people. And I realized that the one thing that young people are not opportune to get involved with is leadership. So I figured it was time to learn how to be a leader. So I took it upon myself to get enrolled for my master's in leadership in California with Brown University. And so I did that. While there in California, I was also opportune to go to California State University, Northridge, where I taught for a while. And then afterwards, I also decided to go in for my doctorate in leadership. And I did that. So after my doctorate, I wanted to be a professor. I wanted to teach. So I walked into Virginia State University here in Virginia, and I met with very amazing professors who figured that what I had to give was very valuable. And so they said, why don't you come in here and develop a program for us where we can have young people learn to be leaders? And we did that, and it's very successful, and they were able to integrate that program into their curriculum, and it's been great so far. So I teach leadership, power, organizational leadership, global leadership, and conflict resolutions as well.
That's amazing. So are you the youngest professor in the school?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that particularly. I currently also am an adjunct professor at North Carolina Wesleyan College. So I wouldn't say I'm the youngest. I mean, we have lots of people who are professors all over the world. So I just do what I know best. I make sure I do it very well.
Okay, that's amazing. So how are you able to juggle being a professor with your passion for the media and every other thing you do? I know you have so many projects. How are you able to juggle everything?
By the grace of God, I just make sure that I'm able to work and do what's best for me. I'm able to compartmentalize all of them and get the best out of it.
But then again, we also know that behind every success story is a failure. The times that you might have missed it and all of that. So did you ever have to experience any of those times where you felt disappointed, where you kind of failed, and where you weren't really happy with yourself?
Oh my goodness, I fail very often.
Okay.
But the good thing is I'm very quick to take a step back, re-strategize. But the first thing I do, let me take you back. The first thing I do when I realize any disappointment or failure is I go down on my knees and pray for wisdom and grace. But then when I do that, I get supercharged. Go forth and change that narrative. I do not let myself get stuck in that failure or in that disappointment. I look for ways that I would be able to move forward and create more opportunities and create more greatness that will spur me to greater heights. So I don't think that there's any great person in the world who does not encounter any kind of crucibles or difficulties as they strive to be great people. It's just, you must have some disappointments in your life, but how you channel those disappointments is definitely what defines who you are as an individual.
So how do you get to deal with this stereotype against women? Do you have students looking at you like, okay, she's pretty young, she just might be my classmate? Do you have fellow professors look at you like, okay, what do you think you're doing? And especially in Africa, where we have so many stereotypical men.
Well, I'm aware that we come from a deeply patriarchal nation. Our nation is deeply patriarchal, and I'm very aware of that. So what I do, the first thing I do when I meet with people or when I'm at the table where decisions are made, is I establish my expertise and make sure that people understand that I am qualified to do what I do. And not just there by accident. I've gone through all of the hurdles, all of the processes that it would take to get you there. But then also I know that regardless of what you do, because I look young and because I am single and because I'm female, we know that where we come from, young women are not believed to be carriers of great initiatives, regardless of your title. So it is my duty to redefine that and let the world know that indeed, young people are carriers of great initiative. And indeed, I did work hard. I worked excruciatingly hard to get where I am today. And I'm still working, I'm still learning every day, and I'm still professionally developing myself as a woman and as a leader.
That's amazing. I know you have a project called the Empower Africa Initiative. What inspired that?
Empower Africa Initiative was birthed many years ago. I think I was a teenager when I birthed that project. And my goal was basically the same thing, to empower leaders to do the extraordinary. I wanted a position where we could have more leaders all over the world. My mindset has always been to create leaders, to teach people how to lead, to let people know that leadership is not that serious. Yeah. You don't have to be old to be a leader. You don't have to be 60 years old to believe that you have the capacity to lead. I wanted us to perceive leadership in a different way. I also knew that leadership in Africa has been ascribed for male only. So I wanted to change that narrative. So what I did was bring in leaders from different spheres of life, great leaders, musicians, politicians, people doing extraordinary things. I brought them into the program, into the show, to actually let us know what they did and how they've strived to become who they are today. And it's been amazing so far.
That's really great. So what are the major challenges you faced in the entire process?
I don't know if this is a good one to tell, but I want to share this with you very, very briefly. So remember I told you how I developed these courses for a university in America? Yeah. Now, this university had never had leadership as a course in their curriculum in this department before. Okay. But I went in there, and with the help of some other professors who loved my approach to leadership, we collaborated and created these amazing courses. They wanted me to do too at first. But then when they saw how that went, the chair of the department said to me, we need 4 more from you. Can you get together and create 4 more courses? So we were able to collaboratively create 6 leadership courses for the university. Now, what happened was, within a period of time, the chair left office, so someone else came in. But the person who came in could not really accept those programs that the former chair collaboratively created, because she believed that she was not involved in the creation. So there was a whole lot of turmoil in the process. Oh, wow. But we were able to surpass that.
That's amazing.
Bring that to existence. So yes, there'll be always crucibles every time.
Okay, that's good. So was that another woman trying to bring down another woman?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's such a sad thing, because we see this happening every time. Yeah. Women do not want to hold each other's hand and help the other women to rise up. They believe that this person is a stumbling block. If I do not accomplish that, why should somebody else who is younger, or why should someone else even attempt to want to do that? But you're wrong. If you didn't get that done, collaborate with someone else, hold their hands and see them rise, because eventually that glory would come to you both, would come to all of you as a team, and not just one person. There's power in collaboration.
True. And then we would have more women doing great stuff.
Rising up to the table, rising up and doing great things. Yes.
So what are the success stories you've had so far, especially with the Empower Africa initiative?
Amazing. Empower Africa initiative has done quite a lot. We've created programs where we actually empowered people to be leaders. We've created certificate programs. As you know, we were also on DSTV for many years. We actually had exclusivity with Mnet, multi-choice in Africa. And that was on for, if I'm not mistaken, 5-6 years.
Amazing.
Great, yeah, so far. But because I had to go through educational programs for so long in my life, I halted some productions for a while, but yeah.
What's the vision for Empower Africa?
Empower Africa has always been to create leaders who will do extraordinary for the world, and also to ensure that we have people who are willing to change narratives and bring about a great change in the world.
Okay, so it looks like you seem to have interest in politics. Am I right?
Well, my father always told me that if you do not take care of politics, politics will take care of you.
Okay, so what's the plan?
Whatever God wants me to be.
No, but by now you should know if you're going to run for office at some point. You should know if you're going to support. You should know if you're going to be looking for an elected position or any other position, basically, or a selected position.
I think it would be great to see more women at the table where decisions are made, at the head of leaderships of our nation. I think it would be great to just have more women at the table. It would be great.
So are you going to be one of those women? Are you looking forward to being one of those women?
I wouldn't say I'm actively working towards. I love to believe that I'm a change maker. I'd love to see great changes that will impact our world, that will revolutionize our world. I'd love to see that come into existence. And I'd love to have more people, like I said earlier, more women be at the table where decisions are made in any given country at any given time. That's my goal. Whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, I think that we should begin to govern our nation based on meritocracy.
And so you mentioned being single and, it being one of the major hurdles with a lot of things you've been doing. And so in politics, do you think that being single is a hidden criteria for a woman?
A hidden criteria for a woman. I know that when women are single, they're not very respected in Africa. That I know very well. I know that when you're single, you're not honored by men. Yeah. I know that also. But I will not be subdued or be suppressed because I'm single. I'm single by choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so the fact that people should begin to see that you don't have to be married to be in a position where leadership is embraced. You shouldn't be, how would I say, camouflaged to be married because you want to be in a leadership position. No, you should authentically be who you are and then embrace those aspects of you and then strive to make a change. Your marital status should not be a criteria for leadership. Yeah. That's what I believe.
Yeah, true. Do you think Nigeria is ready for a female president?
When people ask that question, do I think if Nigeria is ready for a female president? I think that Nigeria will be ready to embrace great leaders who would do great works. Nigeria will be able to embrace leaders based on meritocracy. Yeah. Nigeria will be able to embrace people who would definitely be authentic and lead. Mm-hmm. I think Nigeria will embrace greatness and change.
Okay, so if it comes in a woman, do you think Nigeria would actually really embrace it, considering the fact that we have so many men that are not too open to women in leadership positions? I mean, if you check the number of women in the House of Assembly, if you check the number of women in the House of Reps, for instance, you would know that we have less than 30% women represented there. So do you think at some point, anytime in the nearest future, we're going to actually embrace a female leader, a female president?
It's interesting you ask this question. My research for my doctorate degree was actually how women in leadership describe their rise to leadership in Nigeria. And believe me, it's been a very phenomenal project since I actually embarked on that. But the point is, we have to be ready to embrace that. We have to be. As a nation, we have to be ready to embrace women as leaders. Gone are the days when we believe that leadership should only be for men. No, That's not why we're educated. We are educated because we want to be part of the system. We are educated because we too want to believe that we have the capacity to lead. Leadership is just not for men alone.
How about the situation where women actually are the ones not encouraging other women? Because I mean, you have women in positions of power that are not even willing to help other women grow. How do you think we can handle that and improve on that?
Well, we have to begin to change the way that we think as women. We have to be able to understand that those days are gone. If you couldn't do it as a woman, somebody else can do it. Join forces with that person and strive to do better. Push them up, help push them up, help elevate them. The fact that you couldn't get there doesn't mean that she too shouldn't get there. Perhaps your effort, perhaps your concerted effort, perhaps your considered effort could be what she needs to get there. So why stop her? So we need to collaboratively do these things together.
Yeah, but we've also had some of the few women that have happened to be in the position of authority, in the position of power, actually really abuse it. And so how are we going to redeem ourselves, considering that our agenda is not particularly a popular agenda when it comes to power and all of that? And then the few ones that get there get to just, abuse it. How do you think we can really redeem our images as women and really get to handle things the way it should be?
Well, I believe in excellence. I think that every person who exudes excellence cannot be hidden.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. So if there is a woman who has done something that's not right in the past, transparency also works. Come open and say, I did this, but I still believe that we can make a change. Everyone makes a mistake. Everyone makes a mistake. So there is a great chance. The fact that someone had failed or had stalled in the past does not mean that we cannot have a change or a person who can make a difference. Yeah. No, there's always room for improvement.
So what would you advise younger women, not just in Africa now, in the entire world, what would you advise younger women? What's your advice to younger women?
Be intentional.
Okay.
Just be intentional. When you want to do what you want to do, be intentional about it. And do not give up regardless of what comes your way. Do not give up. Be intentional and go for it.
Amazing. So guys, you've heard Dr. Princess. She said be intentional. And so it's been the Olah Show. I hope you've had fun. I have had a lot of fun gisting with her today. Till next time, bye for now.